akan membuat sedikit perkenalan tentang dia, tentang background dia ya. So, dengar-dengar dulu dia punya jalan cerita dan kalau ada soalan boleh letakkan dalam chat dan Cikgu Izzat akan bantu saya untuk menjawab. Alright? Here you go.
Yeah, so I'm an external auditor at PwC KL. That's PricewaterhouseCoopers KL. So I've been working there for about almost 5 years now. Where I'm from is I'm actually from Klang, Selangor. So that's where I currently live as well. But I actually do have a place. I rent a room in KL, Kuala Lumpur, which is actually closer to my workplace. But since the MCO and the COVID pandemic, since I'm working from home most of the time now, so I'm currently living in Klang most of the time, still just working from home. I think like the rest of us, we're all doing our studying and everything at home as well. So same experience for me here now as well. So yeah, mostly based in Klang currently. Yeah. Next time.
Setakat ni faham ya? So we'll just wait to see some response. Miss Jo Dee also will faham. Okay, good. Then I will just continue. Kalau tak faham, letak dalam chat, okay?
Yeah, so a bit about my schooling experience. So primary school, I attended this school called SK1 Simpang 5 Klang. It was quite uneventful in my primary school, I would say, except that I was actually made a prefect, pengawas, from standard 4 to standard 6. So, and then in standard 6, they actually made me assistant head prefect. So these few years, I think it's the first few years, my first experience being, holding leadership role, leading others and things like that. So this is the first time I got to experience what it's like to actually be a leader and to basically inspire other people as well. So then my favorite subjects during this time was English and mathematics. So I didn't have much ambition or not so much idea on what I want to be yet at that time, except that probably I thought of being a teacher because my mom was a teacher and I looked up to her. And in fact, she was actually one of the teachers in the primary school where I was studying in Simpang 5. She was an English teacher herself. And then she was the penerong kanan hal ehwal murid at some point. And then later on, she became the penerong kanan curriculum also. So, I looked up to her and then I feel like, I want to be like her one day. So that was, at that time, that was my ambition lah. I wanted to become a teacher just like her. And then, so after UPSR, completed UPSR, and then I moved on to secondary school. So I attended SMK Tengku Ampuan Rahimah, also known as, in Klang, we always call it STAR lah, STAR for short. So then Form 1, Form 2, Form 3 habis, then I went to Form 4, which I actually chose to be in the science stream. Science stream then, during this time, actually my strongest subject was chemistry, as well as additional mathematics, and I still loved English and normal mathematics as well lah. But then because I like chemistry so much, so I actually thought of pursuing a career in food science or nutrition at that time. Then in SPM, in 2010, I took 11 subjects, but I actually got 10 A's and 1 C, and the C is actually in chemistry, my favorite subject, and one of my strongest subjects. So, I was completely in shock. I don't believe it. Actually, until today, to be honest, I still feel like something was wrong, like, the result, something went wrong, because I felt so prepared. I don't remember like struggling during the exam. I did all my preparation, but somehow when the result came out, it was C. So I was so upset, still don't believe lah. But until today, I feel like, okay lah, I accepted it. Since, after that, everything turned out in a good way lah, I would say, because, after that I went to college, university, and then now I'm where I am today. So I'm grateful for that. But at that time, I was very confused lah, because, I had this goal of being in food science, nutrition. Then because of the C in chemistry, then I feel like I can't really pursue this anymore lah. That was my thought. And then because I also wanted to apply for scholarships in science and chemistry, so that was kind of like out of the question for me at that time. So I thought of what else I can pursue, what else am I good at. So maybe I'll just pause here. I'll move on to the next slide if anyone has questions before I move on to the next slide. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just pause here. Ada soalan tak? Kamu sudah dengar tentang cerita hidup Miss Jo Dee, di mana sebelum ni dia, especially di secondary school, dia sangat-sangat suka subjek kimia, tetapi bila dia punya result keluar, terkejut dengan satu C untuk subjek kegemaran dia. So, ada soalankah tentang itu? Apa lagi soalan yang kamu ada tentang bahagian hidup sini? Kita berikan beberapa saat untuk bertanya. While we're waiting, Jody, did you actually take accounting subject when you were in secondary school?
I didn't. I actually didn't take accounting at this time. Yeah. At Maths, Jody pun A. Ya, betul. At Maths juga A.
This is science stream student, right? Yes, I would think so.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Took physics. Yes, I took physics. So I took physics, bio, chemistry, the full science package. Stress time jawab kimia. I think maybe lah. Tapi I feel like still macam tak puas hati sikit lah. Because I feel like, I try so hard, macam semua okay, tapi somehow tapi dapat C, I okay lah, I accept lah sekarang. Yeah.
Any more questions? Last one or two, and then we'll move on to the next one. The reason why I asked the accounting subject is because some of them were asking, like, they don't take accounts now. So it'll be very interesting to hear your story and how you end up in this business.
Yeah.
Miss ambil perakanan, dia jawab tadi dia tidak mengambil perakanan masa di sekolah menengah. Do you work before when you're young?
No, actually, I didn't start working until after I finished my my college and my university. So my first job was actually when I did my internship after my degree.
Okay, which we will hear soon.
Yeah, I'm going to that later.
Yeah, so kita akan teruskan sedikit dengan slide seterusnya. Kamu boleh letakkan soalan kalau ada, nanti kita boleh tanyakan dengan Miss Jo Dee. Right? So next slide.
Yeah, so over here, what happened is I started to research a bit more on what to pursue apart from science. So with the help of my mom, we did some research, and then I found that the field of accounting is actually quite something that quite suitable for me as well, because I do like mathematics. I'm good English as well, and then the key subjects that I think are quite important to pursue accounting lah. So in terms of numerical skills, analytical skills, and then it's not that I'm afraid of numbers or anything, because I think some people, they just really don't like numbers, but I feel like I'm okay with that. And then in terms of the career, I search like whether it's stable, what kind of options I can have when I go out into the working field. So I feel like it's something that suits me as well. So I decided to go ahead and pursue accounting. So then I found that there was these scholarships being offered at this university called Nilai University. And they offered this for people with 10 A's lah. So since I meet the requirements, so I went ahead to apply for the scholarship. And then I went for the scholarship interview. I got the scholarship. So I decided to take up this course in Nilai University. So I did a foundation in business. That's the FIB on the slide there. So foundation in business. So I think some of you have asked if I don't have accounting in SPM or STPM, can I still pursue accounting? So the answer is yes, because coming from science stream, although you don't have accounting subject, you can actually take like a foundation in business, or even I think in A levels or any sort of pre-U, they do have the option, they do have a subject for the basics of accounting, where they actually really teach you the basics, the fundamentals, all the accounting principles and all that. They will teach you, so you will be able to learn, and you can still catch it lah. I would say if you do have accounting knowledge in SPM and all that, it will help a little bit, but still you will learn a lot more when you do your foundation and your pre-university. So not to worry about that, because that's what I did as well. So I did a foundation in business, and then and I did well in the foundation as well. So I managed to maintain the scholarship going into the degree lah. So the scholarship also covered my degree. So I continued my degree also in the same university, Nilai University. Okay. I'll move on to the university part.
Yes, you can move on to just for this slide. Then after that, we'll ask some
Right.
questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Ken. So yeah, as I mentioned, so I did my Bachelor of Arts in Accounting and Finance. Yeah, over this time, in university, apart from studying and all the accounting and all that, there were a lot of clubs and societies to join as well. So I was quite active in those as well, like Christian Fellowship, Athletics Club, and then Chukball. I think a lot of people wouldn't know what that Chukball is. To be honest, that was the first time I heard about it. Also, it's a very rare sport in Malaysia. I think not many people play it, but somehow in this university they have this Chukball club. So all my friends joined. So I was quite interested also. So I participated in those. And then there were a lot of like charity events and things that my friends also helped to organize. So they pulled me in to be the organizing committee and all that. So like my experience in Nilai was quite interesting, I would say. Apart from learning in accounting, finance, they also had a lot of activities and clubs that can really help to build your other soft skills as well, not just in terms of academics. So yeah, it was a great time for me, I think, in college and university. Yeah, if any questions that you have at this moment.
Yeah, that's really good. So I'm gonna pause here. Saya akan berhenti sekejap di sini untuk pelajar bertanyakan soalan yang lebih. Tapi ada yang sudah bertanya tadi, macam mana Miss Jo Dee masuk dalam bidang perakaunan? Terutamanya bila kita belajar tadi, Miss Jo Dee hanya mengambil aliran sains yang tulen. Dia tak ada mengambil perakaunan. So kalau nampak slide ini kan, dia mendapat beasiswa ke Nilai Universiti dinilai di bawah Foundation in Business. So maksudnya di sini mereka masih memberikan peluang untuk kamu belajar asas untuk perakaunan dan bisnes. Dan kamu boleh mula dari sini. So untuk yang sekarang di awal-awal sesi tadi yang memberitahu kamu tidak mengambil subjek perakaunan, jangan risau, masih ada peluang lagi untuk kamu teruskan minat kamu kalau kamu ada dalam bidang perakaunan dan kewangan. So it's not the end of the road. And I think just now as well, Jo Dee, you mentioned about soft skills. And you highlighted these clubs. Adakah soft skill ni sangat penting? Is it really important to have these soft skills and why?
I think, yeah, definitely soft skills are almost as important as your academics. I think in sometimes it's even more because like, when you go out into the working world, they do see academics as maybe the first step lah. But then to succeed at the job, you need a whole lot of other skills to basically do the job well lah, because you're working in mostly in organization, then you have to deal with lots of people, different situations that might come up, and then you have to really use your thinking skills, your people management skills to see how to solve problems. So like when you join all these clubs, right, and societies, especially if you get to hold positions where you lead people or you organize things, it really helps to build your soft skills such as like time management skills, how you want to manage different things at once. And then, because you're working in a club, then you have to deal with a lot of people also. So you build your people management skills. And then communication as well is very important because, when you go out into the working world, you have to talk to bosses, talk to your colleagues, talk to, depends on what sector you're in, you talk to client as well. So it really helps you to train you to put you in different kinds of situations to see how you can manage it. So soft skills are definitely it will help you a lot in your career, not just academics.
That's really good advice. So pelajar sekalian, kalau kamu sudah dengar tadi kan, ambillah peluang yang kamu ada sekarang juga di sekolah, dan bila kamu teruskan pelajaran kamu di universiti ataupun di college, kalau ada peluang untuk melibatkan diri dalam klub dan terutamanya mempunyai peluang untuk mengambil satu kedudukan dalam jawatan kuasa, ambilkan peluang itu sebab dia boleh develop soft skill kamu untuk menjadi lebih efisien di alam pekerjaan. So it can help you mengurus masa dengan lebih baik, boleh bantu kamu mengurus bukan saja kolik ataupun rakan sekerja, tapi mengurus manager kamu, pengurus kamu, mengurus orang di bawah kamu. So all these people skill, soft skill ni sangat penting. So jangan berfokus saja kepada akademik. Kita perlu besarkan lagi exposure pendedahan kita kepada soft skill juga. Dan satu tempat kamu boleh mengambil semua pendedahan ini adalah dengan menyertai klub-klub untuk membantu mengembangkan kemahiran kamu. Yeah, sports, yes. We have a very interesting question for you, so we'll take that question. Do you have martial arts?
No, I do not. Although one of my friends actually did mention to me before, she said, you look like someone who does taekwondo or kickboxing. I don't know why. But no, I do not actually do martial arts.
Very interesting. Thank you for your questions. How much money it takes to take accounting principles at university for a start? Yeah. Would you know this, even considering you have a scholarship?
To be honest, foundation, right, the pre-U courses, I do not remember how much it costs, but I think in terms of a degree in accounting, it could be around, it depends which university or which college lah, but I think it ranges like from maybe 30,000 to 50,000 for the degree. But I think if you're just talking about the foundation cost, it will be much less than that lah. Maybe between around less than 20,000, I would say.
Degree meaning like the whole three years
yes,
studies.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
30 hingga 50 ribu untuk 3 tahun yang kamu belajar lah. Tapi saya boleh tambahkan maklumat sini juga. Jangan berhenti dengan maklumat yang ada dengan Miss Jo Dee. Kamu perlu buat research, kajian kamu untuk lihat, sebab memang setiap universiti dia akan menawarkan perkara harusnya fees yang berlainan. So go and research, go and find out more information. Mungkin setiap universiti dia ada beasiswa sendiri juga. So look into it, you never know what is available. Memang perlu buat kajian lah. Okay, so we continue for a while. Nanti kalau ada soalan lain kita boleh ambilkan ya.
Yeah, so this is some pictures I have from my college and university days. So just to share with you lah. Actually, initially, right, I was quite reluctant. Feel like I don't want to study at Nilai because it's not as prestigious or as famous as some other universities lah. You know, especially in the Klang Valley, there are a lot of big universities. Like, I mean, just to share you some names, like like Taylor's or like Inti, which is more famous. So I felt a bit like, what is this Nilai University all about? Or why am I going there and all that? So, but to be honest, looking back, right, after going through the whole experience, I have no regrets. I got the education I needed, although it's not as famous or not as big, but it definitely serve its purpose to give me a good education in accounting and finance. I got, the lecturers were good. I still got all the knowledge that I needed. And then it was a very good experience living on campus also, because I stayed on campus in Nilai because it's a bit far from my home in Klang. So I actually stayed there, and then I got the whole university experience lah. Living there, you get to participate in so many kinds of activities. And then, societies, leadership camps, like what I mentioned earlier. So if you just look at the pictures over there, the one on the first picture on the top left, so that's, remember I mentioned about the athletics club. So that's one of the competitions that we went, and then we managed to be in the top 3 position. So these are the top 3 teams that won the competition. And then the middle one on the top, that's the Christian Fellowship, the camp, one of the camps that we organized for about, I think, 200 people or so. So it was quite a successful event and quite exciting to organize that and be part of that as well. And then on the right, top right, so that's this Dale Carnegie course. Dale Carnegie course is something like communication and leadership course that we had in university also. So I took part in that, and then they gave us a certificate at the end of the course. It was a great course to basically build all these skills lah, these leadership, communication skills. It was quite interesting. And then on the bottom left, that's the one of the charity events that we organized at this orphanage home near, I think it was near Semene, if I'm not mistaken. And then the middle at the bottom, that's my one of the pictures in my graduation, my degree. Yeah, and then the bottom right, that's another event that we organized, a career fair. So we invited several companies to come and give brochures to explain about the job opportunities outside. So I was one of the organizing committee also. So it was quite a good event also to see, how people get to gain all this information lah in one stop in our university. So yeah, those are some of the events that I managed to have in university.
It's very interesting. Sangat menarik bila saya lihat some of the activities that you do. Dia bukan sahaja melibatkan melalui club yang kamu join. It's not through the clubs that you join. It's actually other things that you're organizing, like camps or Dale Carnegie courses or the career fair.
Yeah.
So how do you be active and look out for these things? Like, what pushes you to find all these things?
Right. So start with the Dale Carnegie one. Dale Carnegie one, actually, right, that one, it was one of the elective courses that we had. It was actually a course that we could choose as a subject. So the good thing about this degree course in Eli is that it's not just fully focused on accounting and finance subjects. So we had to take a total of 5 subjects in the 3 years that is really actually totally unrelated to accounting and finance. So they even had courses like introduction to golf. Actually took a golf course as well. And then there was another one about I think that outward bound. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it. It's like an outdoor, quite a high intensity camp lah, but it's basically trains your physical fitness and all that. So that was a course that we had as well to choose from. And then there's this Dale Carnegie. Then another course is like a critical thinking course. So it's very interesting lah, the elective courses that we get to choose that really teaches you something other than accounting and finance. So that's the Dale Carnegie one. And then all these other like the sector, the career fair and all that. To be honest, how I got involved with it is influence of friends lah. So this friend, right, she was in the student representative council. So she had more ideas and connections lah to actually kickstart events. So she was very excited to organize all these events. Then she invited me, and I just took the opportunity lah, since it sounds like a good way to build all these skills that I mentioned, and sounds like quite an interesting thing to bring to the university. So I decided to join in. So I think if you want to look out for opportunities, of course you can be like me to have good friends to pull you in, but you can also take the initiative to see, they will actually publicize it lah. I think that most of the time they will actually say that they're going to organize this event, and then they're looking for committee members and all that. So even if you're not belonging to any club or society, you can actually look out for all this also and take the initiative to join, to actually put your name in and say, I want to contribute. Even if you don't know what you want to contribute, you can ask them, you can say what you're interested in, and then they can see what to give you lah to help to contribute.
Awesome. Thanks. Ada soalan pelajar-pelajar sekalian? Thank you Cikgu Izzat untuk memberikan summary. Good question. Macam mana Miss Jo Dee dapat seimbangkan akademik dan aktiviti sosial? How do you balance that?
But it's really, I think, a time management skill lah. So there's something that I think even right now also I'm still developing. Basically, of course, academic is I think still your number one priority in university and college. So if you feel that you definitely cannot cope, you cannot take on so many events in one semester, then try not to overburden yourself. So you see, what kind of subjects you have in this semester. If they are really tough, you feel like you cannot cope, then you just focus on your academic. That's my advice. But if you have certain semesters where you have lesser subjects, and then you feel like you do have some free time that you feel that you can actually, instead of just watching TV or like doing something that is not so beneficial. Not to say watching TV is not beneficial, but then it can be beneficial also. But then if you feel that you have some spare time that you can contribute to do something different, then you can try to take on all these extra stuff lah. But you do have to weigh for yourself. I think everyone is different. So if you think you cannot cope in one semester, try again the next semester where you have lesser subjects and more time to take on more activities. Yeah.
Another question, is it better to choose between sports or lessons?
Yeah, so like what I shared earlier, I think if you have to choose between one, definitely your lessons is still more important in university. So sports is like an add-on thing lah. It's a side thing that you can make time for if you can. But if you really have to choose, still please go for your lessons. Don't miss them. Just to organize an event.
Yeah, dengar advice tu lesson dulu.
Yes.
I think the follow-up question to that is one of it from Amirul. Wajibkah ikut aktiviti sosial kalau dekat university? Is it really compulsory to do all this?
No, I would say no. I think in school is compulsory. Is it? I can't remember now. I think last time, when I was in school, we had to choose like one club, one uniform or something like that. But in college and university, it's actually not compulsory. They just have all these clubs and sports for you to join. But if you don't want to, you don't have to at all. Nobody is going to force you, or you don't have to actually fulfill anything. It's not a criteria for you to pass your university lah. So it's totally up to you. Yeah.
And then one more is sebanyak mana aktiviti sosial yang boleh kita join? I think you did answer this. It's basically depending on how much time you have based on your studies.
Yeah.
That my answers. Yeah. Kamu typekan soalan, kita teruskan dengan slide seterusnya dulu. Nanti kita akan cuba tengok balik soalan kamu ya.
Alright. Yeah, so after my my college and my university, so then that now starts the so-called the working life lah. So I did my internship, 4-month internship in audit department at KPMG. So KPMG is one of the so-called big accounting firms in Malaysia lah, and even worldwide. So they have different departments like the audit department, the tax department, consulting department. But audit is one of the main departments they have. And also, I decided to choose audit because, in university lecturers always say that it gives a very good kickstart to career in accounting. The reason is because it gives you an understanding for like the whole business process and the financials of the client that we audit. So instead of, because if you just go into, let's say, you just focus only on the accounting department in the client. Let's say you join as an account executive, you will most likely only be doing a few routine procedures where you do the same thing over and over again. But in audit, actually, it gives a wider scope of things to manage, because we look at things like how the business process works. We have to get an understanding on that, and then we have to understand what are the control processes that they have. Basically, how the business processes work lah. So we need to get an understanding on that, and then we also look at the documents to see, how to support the financial transactions, and then we also understand. Basically, it gives you a very big picture lah, of how the whole company works, instead of focusing on just one small area. So that's why I decided to choose to do my internship in audit. So, but unfortunately, in internship it's only 4 months, and as an intern, they don't give you a lot of things to do. So what I did manage to do was the vouching of documents. That's the thing I mentioned earlier, where we look at things like invoices, purchase orders, basically all the client's documents lah, to see whether it matches with what they record in their book or not. Okay, so that's the vouching of documents. And then casting financial statement is like, I'm not sure if how many of you have actually seen a financial statement. it's like the profit and loss statement, the balance sheet, all that. So then casting means like computing to see whether the top to bottom, they add up to the total or not, something like that. And then whether the front part of the financial statement, whether it matches to the information at the back or not, something like that. So that's what I was given to do. And then apart from that, I also managed to take charge of one section in the financial statement, which is the cash and cash equivalents. So what I did here is I test the bank reconciliation. I examine the bank statement of the client. So these are the few things that I managed to do as an intern. Yeah, that's basically my experience in internship. I'm
Okay.
sorry, it's very technical, but feel free to ask me if you want more clarification. I'll be happy to explain.
Yeah, so I was just about to say, so it's getting to a point kita sudah sekarang masuk ke cerita hidup Miss Jo Dee yang lebih teknikal, dan kamu boleh nampak dalam slide kan, dia mula menggunakan bahasa yang teknikal dari segi bidang dan industri ini. But apa yang sangat menarik adalah walaupun Miss Jo Dee dia mempunyai studies dalam bisnes, tapi dia memilih untuk membuat internship dia dari segi audit. Dia tidak terus pergi perakaunan sebab yang berdasarkan apa yang dia kongsikan tadi, audit itu kalau kamu masuk di sini pada awalan kerjaya kamu, dia boleh memberikan kamu gambaran yang lebih luas tentang keseluruhan bisnes. Perniagaan, sesuatu perniagaan. Manakala kalau kamu terus masuk ke accounting, dia lebih spesifik dan mungkin dia akan memberikan gambaran yang lebih rutin dan kurang luas. So pengalaman dia di internship dia dalam bidang audit itu memberikan dia gambaran yang lebih luas tentang sesuatu perniagaan, dan dia diberikan peluang untuk buat vouching of documents, casting financial statements. Bunyi seperti dia mesti pastikan semua dokumen yang ada dengan dia selaras dengan apa yang ada di bank, selaras dengan total yang ada, total what is that? Jumlah keseluruhan dia mesti selaras, mesti pastikan semua sama. Tapi dia juga diberikan peluang untuk take charge. You were given that or did you actually ask for it?
They gave me the section. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So any interest to know any of this? Ada pelajar di sini yang ingin tahu terminologi tentang mana-mana ini, apa maksud dia? Ataupun okay, saya faham je, sangat faham. Okay, we'll give maybe a few seconds. Ada soalan di sini? Sementara kita tunggu. Okay.
Hello? I think Sarah, you're mute, is it?
Sorry. What's the statement of financial position?
Okay. Statement of financial position is balance sheet, basically. I think last time they used to call it balance sheet. So basically it's a statement that shows the summary of the company's position as at that date. So for example, as at 31 December, cash and bank, how much I have, inventory like stock, how much I have, creditors, how much do I owe them, customers, how much do they owe me. Basically is the summary of all these financial aspects, the balances as at a particular date. So that's a statement of financial position. So
the bunyinya macam rumusan posisi kewangan sesuatu organisasi. So pada tarikh ini bagaimanakah, ada berapa duit dalam sini ataupun stok yang ada berapa. So it's rumusan lah. Okay. Right. What is reconciliation?
So okay, maybe in terms of the bank reconciliation, like what I mentioned earlier. So bank reconciliation is you got your bank statement, right? Even I think it's not even like normal individual, not only company, we got bank account, and then we can actually get a bank statement from the bank to show us how much money we have in the bank as at a particular date lah. Then so this number sometimes is different from the number that a company records in their accounts. Maybe the company records say I have 100 ringgit, but then the bank statement say I have 150. So there's a variance of 50 ringgit there, which the company needs to reconcile lah. They need to investigate why 50 ringgit is different. Maybe it's because my customer already pay me 50 ringgit, but I didn't deposit the check in the bank yet. So means I haven't actually claimed the money lah. But then in the bank's opinion, the money is already there. So that's something that they need to reconcile. Yeah.
Okay. So reconciliation maksudnya pastikan penyelarasan lah. So make sure that apa yang dalam rekod di sini adalah sama dengan rekod yang satu lagi. Okay. And then they're going into terms. They're asking you what is financial reporting and can you explain what is share model or model share?
Okay, financial reporting is basically in summary, right? To summary is basically your statement of financial position, which I mentioned earlier, and your statement of profit and loss is which is your income statement lah. Like sales, how much I make, cost of sales, how much I make, how much operating expenses, like I need to pay my staff, I need to pay my electricity bill, all that. Basically all these aspects, right? It's something that companies will need to report at the end of every month, sometimes end of every quarter also, and end of every year. So all these reports are, we call it financial reporting lah, so to say. In terms of share model, unfortunately, I do not have the expertise to advise on this, to share about this. This is very much more on the I think investment side of things, which so far in my career I don't have the exposure to. So sorry about that. I don't think I can explain this.
Can, no problem. So dari segi financial reporting adalah sama seperti yang di atas tadi, iaitu financial where is it? Statement of financial position. So rumusan tambah dengan laporan penggunaan income, dana yang ada dengan organisasi. So semualah kamu memang perlu menunjukkan laporan secara telus supaya public, orang masyarakat boleh melihat cara penggunaan duit organisasi. Untuk model share dia lebih kepada investment. I don't know what's investment in PM. Maybe Izzat you can help me there. But yeah, dia lebih kepada bahagian perniagaan yang lain. So expertise untuk Miss Jo Dee dia lebih kepada accounting, auditing. Yeah. So mungkin kami boleh sebagai pihak FINCO, kami boleh carikan expert dari segi investment ini nanti. Kamu boleh bertanyakan soalan inilah dengan expert yang satu lagi. Okay, is it same like CEO? What do you mean by that, Faiz? Oh, pelaburan. Okay, ya. Yeah. Orang yang expert dengan pelaburan investment, yes. Yeah, so kita akan carikan orang yang expert dalam pelaburan, then you can ask the question there. Yeah, so Faiz, maksudnya CEO, adakah apa yang while we wait for Faiz, cuba terangkan sikit soalan kamu, is it same like CEO? And then one question here, buat audit penat tak?
Well, the honest and short answer is yes. Yes, it is tiring, penat. But then to give you a fuller picture, we have our ups and downs lah. So like, all those like financial reporting I mentioned earlier, those are the clients that we audit lah. All these companies, right, they have like month-end reporting, quarter-end reporting. So every month-end they'll be stressed. Every quarter-end they'll be stressed. But then for us auditors, it's more like our very busy period, right, is always more on the first half of the year, because how audit work is, try not to be too technical about this, but then how audit work is clients, when they close their accounts, right, like 31 December, they close off their accounts already, and then so January only auditors will come in to start to audit the numbers. So like, because most companies, they close their accounts December year end, right, so then January to March, like that, we are always very, very, very busy lah. Then after that, depending on the client's timeline, that client's year end and all that, then normally for us, second half of the year, we are more free lah. And then sometimes like, end of the year, November, December especially, sometimes really very free when you see like people in other fields, they are still rushing with their month-end closing, and then auditors are like, we can relax already until January lah. So there's a give and take lah. Some periods is like really busy, very, very tired. But then there are certain months where it's much better, and then sometimes even more relaxed than other people.
Okay. Okay, so Faiz, sorry, clarify, is Miss Jo Dee's job the same as CEO?
No. Very, very far from it. Very far from being a CEO. Maybe one day lah, but then as of now, no, I'm nowhere near a CEO yet.
CEO dia adalah ketua untuk sesuatu organisasi. So Miss Jo Dee, buat sekarang, mungkin masa depan dia seorang CEO. Buat sekarang dia adalah seorang yang bekerja dalam bahagian finance lah untuk PwC.
Yeah.
Alright. I think somebody asked again, what's the difference between wire transfer and ACH transfer? I really have no idea. Do you know what is this?
No, unfortunately, I'm not sure as well, Puvitra.
Is this more on banking? Would you know?
It's more on banking. It's very much banking.
Okay, thank you Puvitra untuk soalan kamu. Saya akan ambil nota. Yang kamu tanyakan ini dia lebih kepada perbankan. So we will try and find people dalam pihak FINCO sendiri, sebab kita kan institusi kewangan, untuk mungkin cuba jawablah soalan ini. One very big question that is on everyone's mind, what is the range of salary that you can get in this industry?
Well, I think it really depends on the career progression also, or depending on what level you're talking about, because surely when you grow up into a more senior role, you will get a higher salary. So if you want to talk about starting salary, it's pretty much the same as I think other industries. We are not much higher or much lower, so it will be within the range of around 3,000 plus per month. Then of course, the longer you work, the more steps that you progress, you will get higher salary lah. So but in terms of if you want faster progression, actually, to be honest, I feel in audit you will get to progress faster lah, compared to if you are just joining directly into accounting department of a company. You might stay in the same position a bit longer before you get promotion or even a salary increment.
Yeah, so permulaan dalam lingkungan 3,000, tapi makin lama kamu kerja, makin akan meningkatlah dengan pengalaman yang kamu ada. Alright. I can't remember. Do you have any more slides? I think so, yeah?
Yes.
We continue? Yeah. Okay.
Right. So back to my career journey. After internship, so basically I joined a BDO, another accounting firm, similar to KPMG, a slightly smaller company but same nature. So in March 2016, I got a position, full-time position as audit associate. Then actually 3 months after that, I moved to PwC, which is where I'm currently now. It's another we call it Big Four accounting firm lah. There's KPMG, PwC, EY, and Deloitte. These are the four biggest accounting firm in Malaysia lah, or even worldwide. So if you get a chance to go in normally, especially in audit, we will try to get these companies lah. So when I was offered a position in PwC, that's where I moved to in June 2016. And then 2 years later, I got promoted to a senior associate. And then January this year, I was promoted to assistant manager. So that's where I'm currently at now in PwC. And then also just to share with you, during this career journey, I actually also pursued this qualification. It's a professional qualification called ACCA. I studied part-time at Sunway College. So this is in 2016 itself, up until 2018, I studied part-time. So basically, I work Monday to Friday, and then I take weekend classes at Sunway. So I took these five papers, where I sat for 1 paper every 6 months. So in July 2018, I completed the qualification. So the good thing about joining all these audit firms, right, is that most of the audit firms, not only Big Four, I think other audit firms also, they offer you a training contract. What it means is that they bond you to the company. You sign an agreement where you have to work for the company for a number of years. So in PwC's case, I had to work for PwC for 4 years. And then in return, what they give me is that they will pay for my studies. So all this part-time studying at Sunway, the tuition fees, the cost, they actually pay for me. And then the exam fees also, they reimburse. So it's like a win-win situation now. I work for them for 4 years contract, and then they cover the professional papers for me. So that's how I completed my ACCA. And then to be a member of ACCA, we actually need a 3 years relevant working experience. So even after completing the papers, still not yet a member of ACCA, but 3 years, that means in July 2019, I became an official member of ACCA, which is it's like a professional accounting association lah, that is recognized not only in Malaysia but also worldwide. So with this professional membership, why it's good is because even if you step out from audit, even in Malaysia or overseas, it's a very good beneficial thing to have on your resume, and also the knowledge that you learn in your ACCA, like it gives you a more in-depth knowledge on top of your degree. So in degree, we do learn a lot of the basics, about accounting and finance and all that. But in ACCA, they actually teach you even more. It's something like getting a master's degree after your bachelor's degree, but this is specialized for accounting lah. So a lot of accountants, that's the route that we take after completing our degree. Yeah.
Okay, sebagai rumusan lah. So Miss Jo Dee sekarang dia bekerja, dia mulakan pekerjaan dengan BDO, tapi dia tak lama selepas itu dia menyertai PwC, antara 4 company yang terbesar dari segi audit, terutamanya di Malaysia, tapi di dunia juga boleh dikira agak besar. Company seperti PwC, ada contoh lain KPMG, EY dengan I can't remember that was the Deloitte, yeah. So ini adalah antara company-company memang semua accountant akan cuba masuk lah, ataupun auditors akan cuba masuk untuk mendapat pengalaman, dan ada kebaikan juga untuk menyertai company audit seperti ini, sebab mendapat peluang untuk mendapat training contract, training working contract. Di sini mereka membiayai what's fees? Fees for your pembayaran untuk yuran bagi pengajian ACCA, dan juga mendapat gaji di atas itu. So kamu mendapat confirmation untuk kerja 4 tahun, contohnya dari segi case Miss Jo Dee mendapat kerja selama 4 tahun confirm, tapi dia juga dapat dibiayai untuk meneruskan pengajian untuk ACCA, iaitu satu qualification lah secara profesional, dan qualification ini sangat bagus sebab dia dikenali di seluruh dunia. So contohnya kalau Miss Jo Dee berhenti kerja di sini, dia boleh pergi ke company audit yang lain di negara lain, dan mereka akan mengenali dia pengalaman Miss Jo Dee dari segi ACCA ini. So it's a very good thing to have lah. So kalau kamu semua sini minat dari segi accounting ataupun auditing, dari segi industri ini, ACCA adalah antara satu certification yang penting lah kamu boleh cuba untuk capaikan. Right? Is there another slide I can't remember?
No, actually I think that's it.
Okay. If this is it, sorry. If this is it, then we'll go to questions. Kita ada berapa minit lagi. One question here is, how is my credit score calculated? Would you know this?
Your credit score in university, you mean? Or
no, I think finance credit score, like.
Again, I think that's a very finance question, which banking investment kind of question, which I can't really answer. Yeah.
Yeah, dia bidang lain, Bu Fitra. Dia lebih kepada perbankan. So we will take note of that as well. Right now, Miss Jo Dee kerja mana?
Yep, I'm currently still at PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Yeah. How's today's demand on this kind of job? It's a good question.
The demand, I think, is definitely good. It's still very relevant. Although I think some people think that, in future, accounting is going to be very automated, or they are going to, have robots or something to replace us, or to do all these mundane things. But actually, it's not really true, because there are a lot of routine repetitive things that automation can do, but in terms of the analysis, and then when there's new things that come up, new things that need your input and analysis, that's where accountants still come in. So definitely the demand is still there, and especially like firms like all these accounting firms, right? Like this BDO lah, PwC lah, all these KPMG, even other firms, or even smaller firms also, they're always looking for people, I would say. Even at PwC currently also, I think if you go to the website, they will say like they're hiring no fresh graduates and things like that. So definitely the demand is still there.
Sorry, good question I wanted to say. And then pernah pergi luar negara tak? Have you gone out of Malaysia?
For work, you mean? For work, no, I have not been sent overseas, although I do have colleagues who have been able to travel overseas because of the clients that they have. So there are some people who have been able to go to Vietnam. Somebody even went to Kazakhstan. Somebody went to Vietnam. Depends on the client that you get lah. If you're lucky to have a client that has a lot of overseas presence, who have a lot of office overseas, then you might get a chance to travel. But in my own experience, I unfortunately I didn't have a chance yet to travel overseas because of that. I think the furthest that I went is over from Semenanjung to Labuan. To Labuan. That's the furthest that they've sent me for work.
Yeah, so untuk soalan itu, dari segi personal dia pernah keluar, tapi untuk kerja belum. Tapi ada antara rakan sekerja Ms. Jody yang pernah pergi, contohnya Vietnam, Kazakhstan. So peluang itu mungkin ada, bergantung kepada klien lah yang kamu ada.
Yeah.
Question, kalau dah memang kelas account, boleh sambung belajar pasal account lagi kah?
Where was this? If
if you're already doing accounting, can you continue doing accounting?
For sure. You mean like if you took a accounting subject in SPM, can you further your studies in accounting? I think it definitely yes. In fact, it will help you even further, as you already have the basics to understand the subjects. Yeah.
Next one. Bila buat audit, when you do audit, do you use a certain system, or is it manually?
Audit is we have a software. I think a lot of audit firms, they have their own software lah. For PwC, we have this software called Aura, AURA. So it's basically like a system where we can upload all our audit working papers. So our audit working papers is all like in Excel where we have the numbers, the analysis, the work done, basically like all those vouching that I mentioned earlier. Also, a lot of times we actually have to document what we vouch. So like this document number, this is the amount, then whether it matches to the system or not, something like that. So all this working is all in Excel, and then we upload it into the software lah. So in the software, that's where the managers, the bosses will click inside, then they'll leave comments or they'll review it. So everything is either in Excel or in the software. Nothing is really manual except for when we check the manual documents lah.
Yeah, so sekarang dia lebih modern sikit, dia sudah semua computerized, semua masuk ke Excel. So it sounds like it's very heavy on a computer. Memang satu industri yang menggunakan penggunaan komputer yang banyak. Dia ada sistem. Ada satu pertanyaan sini, what is Aura? Dia adalah software yang digunakan oleh PwC untuk melakukan semua proses auditing inilah. Gaji lumayan kah? You said there's not salary just now, but in general, this industry, is it good money?
I'm thinking how best to answer this, but I wouldn't say that it's much better than any other industry, if you want my really honest answer, I think like even IT, like IT field, like people in IT software engineering, all that, they might actually be earning more lah, because it's very much more relevant nowadays in terms of, everything is slowly being digitalized and all that. So and I think there's not a lot of people out there with this knowledge also. So that field, it might be much higher, but in terms, if you want to compare with other kinds of industry and field, it's about the same lah. It's not very much higher or lower than what other industries have.
Yeah, so lebih kurang sama dengan banyak industri yang lain untuk jawapan ini. Tapi kalau yang lumayan, kalau betul-betul kamu inginkan pekerjaan yang lumayan, boleh lihat dari segi industri IT lah, sebab sekarang demand dia tinggi, tetapi expert dia kurang. So mungkin pada masa sekarang inilah yang lumayan sikit lah. Let's see what else. Is it stressful? I think she answered that earlier. In terms of like, mungkin awal tahun dia stress sikit. Tapi kalau lihat,
yeah, I think when it's really stressful, it can be really stressful. But like what I shared earlier, there are times that it's more relaxed than other people. So you can be more stressed than other people, but then sometimes you're more relaxed. It's a balance lah. Sometimes it's like a give and take. Sometimes you're more stressed here, then other times you get to relax a bit more.
Sanjini, what about STPM? I'm not sure what about STPM you're asking. Is it accounting or what? Can you clarify more? And Zaid asked, where do accountants usually work at?
Accountants, it really depends on your company. Like if you're working for the finance department of the company, so every company actually needs accountants, right? Any company that you see out there actually has a finance department, actually have people who are doing the accounting work. So it really depends on where what kind of company or where you want to work. But if you are looking in terms of the audit field, because we are auditing our clients, so actually most of the time we will be at our client's office lah. Just to share with you a bit, if we have time, just to share with you a bit of my experience during internship, right? Because like what I shared earlier, I took an internship in audit, but then in university we always learn about what auditors do, and then how they always chat with client about this, chat with client about that. But I never imagine that actually auditors work in client's office. We hardly go back to our own office, So like, although I'm from PwC KL, but then I think in one whole year, right, pre-COVID, like in one whole year, I only step into office like I think 20% of the time. 80% of the time, I'm actually based in a client's office, because that's where the client is, that's where the documents are, that's where the people are. So we actually go to our client's office most of the time. We hardly ever go back to our own office. So our location of working, I would say, is depending on where your client is lah.
So very interesting. Accounting is more stable, like more at where it
you
is.
can
The
have your own
company
desk, you can put your picture there and everything. But auditors, we are like sometimes a bit. I used to feel a bit homeless lah, because like I'm always like I cannot put my things, like I don't have a desk. Even if I go back to PwC, we don't have a fixed desk. It's like a hot desk where you just choose seat, in any available seat and all that. It was a bit hard for me to a weird idea for me to grasp in the beginning, but after that I kind of got used to it.
So cara pekerjaan auditor ni dia lain sikit. Dia terutamanya contohnya dalam PwC, mereka menggunakan konsep hot desk. Jadi sebab mereka selalu bekerja di mana klien mereka ada, mereka jarang berada di office. Tapi ini sebelum COVID lah. Sekarang dia mungkin lain sikit. But who knows, mungkin masa depan bila dia lebih normal, dia akan balik ke proses inilah, sistem ini. A few good questions. I think they're quite related. How about your sleeping time? Does your work affect your free time? And is your working schedule fixed or does it vary?
Sleeping time, as much as I try, I try um, to get enough sleep lah. But you know, I mean, if you want really honest sharing with me, all those busy period which I mentioned earlier, sometimes you have to sacrifice a bit lah. I mean now you guys are in high school, so you probably don't have a lot of experience in terms of like assignments and all that. But if you go to college and university also, sometimes you have a lot of assignments that you know the lecturers will give you, then you have to rush to finish it. So it's kind of similar in that sense where sometimes the deadline is very tight, so you might have to stay up late a bit sometimes to finish the work to meet the deadline. So those are the times where you that I have personally sacrificed a bit of sleeping lah. But other than that, if I can manage my time well, if the deadline is not so tight, you know, then you can sleep like your normal sleeping time. Don't have to worry about that. In terms of affecting my free time, it very much also depends on the workload and the deadline at that point of time. Yeah.
No, Nordia, your words scare me to further my education.
Oh no. Oh no, please
no.
don't. Please don't be afraid.
Yeah, don't be afraid. Actually, Judy, you have one more slide, which might actually switch things over for them. So maybe we
which
can
slide was this?
share the fun slide.
Oh, the fun facts
Yes,
and the hobbies.
yes. Just some fun things about Miss Jody. Maybe we'll try. Yeah.
Yeah, just to share with you some fun facts or hobbies that I had pre-COVID. I actually still managed to do a lot of all these things that you see on the slide here while I'm still working in PwC. So I was actually very much a running enthusiast. So I did like a lot of running events. Then, you know, in 2019, I think it was the best year for me in terms of my running achievements, so to say. I got a lot of placings in like trail runs. You know, I had time to actually train for full marathon and ultra marathon as well. So yeah, just to share you in terms of free time and being able to do other things. Yes, the answer is yes. Despite the busy schedule and all that, uh, I do still make time for all these activities, and it's definitely possible to still do all these other things lah that you know that you enjoy, that I enjoy, and then even hiking also I did, you know, on weekends. And then I actually had this plan to hike Mount KK this year, but since the COVID and all that, so it's not happening this year. But I think after after NCO, after COVID, I definitely still want to do this, and I think definitely still achievable. And yeah, so even now also, even working from home and everything, I still try to keep active by doing following YouTube videos. You know, in YouTube now there are so many all kinds of exercise videos out there that you can follow along. And then in terms of music, I play the piano and the ukulele. Ukulele is like a small, basically like a small version of a guitar. So I also took this up. I learned how to play the ukulele. Yeah, to like basically distress, you know, then when feeling very stressed, sometimes I just pick up the ukulele and play, learn a new song. So yeah, definitely you can still do all these fun things. You can still achieve a lot of other things outside of work. It's all about time management and balancing lah. Sometimes definitely there are days that will be hard, days that where you have tighter deadlines, but like you know what I shared, all those other free times that you have, the more relaxing times, relaxing periods of the year, you get to do a lot of other things that you enjoy as well. So yeah, don't be afraid, you know, of the working world, or you know, to pursue your career. You suffer a bit, but you also still get to enjoy a lot of other things, you know. So yeah, don't worry.
Yeah. So we are already at 9:30. Saya nampak kita sudah sampai ke penghujung masa. But you know, we can take one more question if you have.
Do you have this?
One more question. Is piano hard?
Oh, it was hard in the beginning for me lah, because I actually learned piano when I was 7 years old. So when I first started, I remember struggling a lot because you know your right hand has to play one thing, then your left hand has to play another thing. So I had to basically like coordinate left and right. Then it was frustrating in the beginning, to be honest, for me lah. Then but after practicing, then you get the hang of it, and then it's very fun when you get to play, you get to make music, melody comes out and all that. It's nice. Yeah.
Izzat say Cikgu Sarah can also explore piano. Okay. Piano is hard in the beginning, but if you really like it, it will become easier. But you need to put in effort. Like anything you want to learn, you just need to put in effort.
Right.
I'm just gonna cut in with one question, and I will answer it. While I'm in opposite, can I be a doctor? But I'm in accounting class. Actually, the answer is yes. It's just that your journey will be a bit longer. So contohnya sekarang kamu ada accounting, tapi apa yang kamu perlu buat adalah macam Miss Jo Dee, masuk foundation tapi untuk biology. Lepas kamu dapat foundation untuk biology, baru kamu perlu pergi ke mungkin diploma, lepas tu naiklah pergi doktor. So perjalanan dia mungkin panjang sedikit, but it's not impossible to be a doctor. So can. Okay, I think we will end with one advice from you. How can you get straight A's in SPM or achieve the kind of result that you got?
Well, I think definitely, for me at least, attend all your classes. Try not to miss your classes, focus in your classes when your teachers are teaching you, because otherwise sometimes I think some people have the mentality, I can skip a few, then when I'm free time, then I catch up on my own. Definitely you can do that, but then it's it will take up more of your time, and then you have to struggle a bit more because you have to kind of figure everything out on your own, as opposed to having someone really explain it to you, and then you get to get feedback on the spot and things like that. So definitely try to attend all your classes and focus, because it's the time that you have allocated to study. And then constant revision is also definitely going to be helpful. After your classes, try to refresh back, try to read back to really absorb what you have learned. And also I think taking breaks is important as well. I mean, when you're studying and all that, try not to overload yourself with too much. Set reasonable targets. If you say you're going to study this many of hours a day, don't make it super crazy so that you don't have any breaks at all. Then when you don't achieve it, you get frustrated with yourself. Don't do things like that. Try to be reasonable and kinder to yourself. And then when you do have your breaks, really take your break, as in don't feel guilty about taking a break. You just really refresh yourself, go do something you enjoy, and feel good about it, so that when you come back to studying, you're really refreshed, you've gotten your break, and you're ready to jump back right in. Those are the tips that I think that helped me as a student.
Very good tips. So jangan ponteng kelas, itu sangat penting untuk mendapat feedback atau maklum balas yang terus dari cikgu. Dia lebih baguslah mendapat live feedback. Tapi yang penting juga adalah kamu seorang manusia. So ambillah masa rehat, dan bila rehat tu, rehatlah betul-betul. Jangan rasa, alamak, kenapa saya perlu rehat sekarang? So jangan rasa bersalah bila masa kamu mengambil rehat lah. Alright. So it's quite late. I think we should end here. Tapi kalau kamu ada soalan yang lebih, letak saja dalam WhatsApp. Nanti saya boleh bertanyakan terus kepada Miss Jo Dee, dan saya akan berikan jawapan lah. You're welcome. And let's just all say thank you to Miss Jo Dee for her time and answering. I think we also learned today that finance is a very big and broad thing, that some things are not under her expertise. Then there are some things that are in different areas like investment or banking. So it's a very, very interesting, eye-opening session. So thank you so much for your time, Jo Dee.
No problem at all. And if you guys have any other questions that you want to forward to me later on through Sarah or other members of the FINCO, I'll be happy to address them as well, since our time is limited here. So feel free to just ask anything else that you would like to know, and I'll be happy to feedback on it.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Boleh buka video sekejap? Kita mau ambil selfie.
Bye. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, Jo Dee.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
For the time with us.
Thank you and good night.